Hey guys, what's up? Tony back at you. I'm here to do the recap of the AUDL combine that I went to this past weekend for the Blugrass Revolution. I actually tried to film this video 2 other times and it didn't work, so hopefully this will work. But okay, today is Tuesday. I did the combine this past Sunday. I didn't get up to get a video to you yesterday because I was really tired and really sore for some reason. I had really bad soreness, which is kind of weird. I didn't expect to be sore from a combine, but I was. So that's that. But anyway, Saturday, I drove to Nashville to meet up with Jake Wright, Nikki Spiva, Napkins, and Dagley. A couple of Nazi guys, and Spiva actually played for Chain, and then he was on the Next Gen team. So did that Saturday, went up to Louisville with those guys, went 5 deep in Nikki's Honda, which is pretty fun. Spent the night there, got up Sunday morning, and then headed out to go to the combine, which is at a YMCA a couple miles down the road. So got squared away with registration, had to fill out a form. We got numbers. We were separated into small groups, so each little small group could do each activity at different times. Everyone in my car actually was in the same group, so we had a little competition going. Whoever got the slowest 40 time had to drive back home. So thanks for doing that, Dagley. But anyway, so did that, had to get a headshot, they had to take our photo, and then our first event of the morning was the pull event. So we had to run down like off the YMCA grounds to some really crappy field to do this pull thing. So the thing about this is that the field is 100 yards long, so that it can fit a football field. So, and the way that we were judged was the distance of your pull and hang time. So you had 3 chances to do your thing, I guess, and the wind was blowing hard. I know one guy had a 13-second hang time on his pull just because the wind kept taking it and then releasing it and taking it and then letting it drop. So yeah, it was distance versus hang time, and my first pull, I pulled it out the back, so I didn't get any points for it. I pulled it like over 100 yards. So that was kind of crappy, just because it wasn't the event in general. It was just like the conditions that the event were in, because the rest of the events were indoors, which is fine. I mean, as ultimate players, we have to deal with the wind, but like, I don't know. With some of the other throwing drills, there was no wind, so it really hurts some of our throws. I'll probably get into that later. So after that was we went to the vertical jump challenge, and what they did was they basically made their own skylight. I don't know if you guys have heard of skylight, but it's an apparatus that hangs a frisbee from a string via magnet, and you can jump up and pull the frisbee down and then reset it, and you can adjust the height. So they basically made their own. So they were trying to give everybody hype before the combine, and their marquee player, Ben Paris, caught the disc at 11.2, 11 foot 2 inches. I actually did it, not to one of him, but I did it at 11 foot 3 inches. Thank you very much. So yeah, so did that, and then after the vertical, we did the throwing drills. And what we did was they had 2x2 nets, I guess like football nets. I guess that's what you use them for. And they had them set up at different lengths along the field, like 10, 20 yards, and then like 40 yards, I think it was. And so you had to throw 3 backhands and 3 flicks at each distance. and it only counted if you got it in the net. If you hit the rim of the net, which is pretty wide, by the way, it's pretty wide. I'm not complaining. If you hit the rim and it bounced out, it didn't count. So I know like 7 or 8 of my throws, I hit the rim, like, and it just didn't count. They don't even mark it. So I feel like everyone that did it got scored pretty badly, even though they have really good throws. They just didn't make it in the net. Does that make sense? I know there were a lot of good throwers, and they only made a couple of them because by their standards. I don't know. But I would just like to say that at the NFL Combine, they also hit moving targets as well. But that's another story. So that we did a 40. My 40 time was actually 4.53, which isn't as fast as I wanted it to be. 3 weeks ago, I ran a 4.4, and I was pretty proud of that. But I was also injured since then. So that was actually the second fastest time there. Another guy got a 4.5 even. So it's not too much faster. You only had 2 chances to do that. And then after that was the agility drill, which was also timed. I don't know if you guys know the L drill in the NFL Combines. We have to run back, touch a cone, run up, run around the cone, do a half figure 8 around the cone, and then finish the drill. We had to do a 40-yard sprint, do that drill, do another 15-yard sprint, turn a corner. A guy told us to go left or right, and depending on what he said, we had to turn 2 or 3 more corners, and then turn, do a 20-yard sprint, and do a layout on a pad. Not even for a disc, just lay out flat into a soft pad. And we got timed with that. And that was a pretty interesting drill. I've never seen anything like that. I know it's supposed to be a test for agility and speed and thinking on your feet and like that, but that doesn't resemble cutting at all. It seemed like they tried to resemble cutting a little bit, but they didn't really succeed. I think they should just stick with either testing the agility or testing the cutting, because I think those aren't the same things. They can be tested 2 different ways. But anyway, after that, I took an interview with one of the head coaches, just a short, quick interview about my history in Ultimate and what I think about the league and blah, 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 blah. I don't know when that video will be up. It should be on their website pretty soon, because I know that they need to get some clout, but, whatever. But after that, we had a scrimmage, and my goal for the whole trip was to stay as open-minded as possible about this league and about this team, the Blugrass Revolution, and about this whole idea of professional Ultimate in general. But the scrimmage is where I started to get turned off to the idea. I'll tell you why. The field is really, really big. It's like 50 yards long. So that's enough room to put a 4th handler back and a host stack. And it's weird because zone's really going to take this sport. It's going to take this version of Ultimate. Because that swing's going to be so big. And weaving is going to be so hard to do because the field is so broad. Because it's going to be a 15-yard sprint for a handler to follow his throw with a swing. So it's just rough. I know I was playing deep a lot of the time, and I never got the disc deep, just because it was a zone, and the field was so wide that they couldn't get the swing off, and a lot of turns happened, and no one really knew how to pop through the cup and crash the cup. So it was really, really strange. because of the field size, I think there's going to have to be some new strategies involved with this version of the sport. Also, the refs. I know at some of the other combines that during the scrimmage they let the players use the USAU rules, except stall count 7. In this particular scrimmage, we weren't allowed to call a thing. There's no point in counting your thrower. Stall's supposed to be 7. I got a guy on 9, and the ref didn't call it. I mean, there were picks, there were fouls that didn't get called. I went up for a D and beat everybody there. My legs got taken out from under me, and the ref didn't call the foul. So that was really, really strange, because I kind of felt helpless. In Ultimate, like, that's part of the game, is because you call your own calls and you have that honor between players. And with this, I kind of felt helpless just because I couldn't call a foul, or I couldn't call that stall, or I couldn't call that pick. Like, it was just awful. So they weren't really adamant about calling their rules. They were really adamant that we weren't allowed to call them. One thing they were really particular on was the time between points. One thing that we were doing was playing continuous play, which is 2 teams play, and whoever doesn't score has to move off the field so another team comes on. So we only had 30 seconds to signal readiness once we got on the field. So we had to sprint down and raise our hand. And that's really, really fast. I know at USAU, their rules is 90 seconds, so that's a minute and a half. So that's time to get rest, call your subs, talk about your strategy, call out your 0s, 1s, 2s, and 3s, blah, blah, blah. So it was really fast. And if the team that doesn't raise their hand in time, they have to take the disc at the front of their end zone. And the team with the disc, if they don't raise the disc in time, the other team takes it at half field automatically. There's no debate or argument. And that's just the way it is. So that's something that they were really particular about. So that's where I started to get, kind of mad at this version of the game that no one's really used to, So that was the combine, in a nutshell, I guess. So my thoughts on this. Well, first off, I have a couple things written down. The first thing is their marquee player, Ben Paris. And these are just my thoughts. These are just my critiques, just by going by the combine. I'm not here to rag on anybody. I'm not here to hate on anybody. Like Paris, I don't know him. I never met him. I rarely got to see him play at the scrimmage, just because I was trying to figure out and document in my head, what was going on. But they were trying to get everybody hyped before the combine, and Paris caught a disc at 11-2 on the skylight. And the reason why he's a marquee player is because he's a good player. That's what I've heard. So he's athletic, and he has a signing bonus with this team. He's supposed to be their star player. So if he catches the disc at 11-2, and I catch a disc at 11-3, if I run faster and jump higher, what does that say about my abilities? Like, if I make this team, where's my signing bonus? Because I feel like I'm more athletic than this guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to compare myself to this guy, but they have to realize that there are other players out there, and they shouldn't be so quick just to sign somebody just because, they're in town. I guess, like, how do they judge how much someone should get paid? Because they haven't seen everybody play. Um, so anyway, that's just something I think about, the payroll, but that's totally not my position to judge on. Anyway, refs. Um, I don't know. I don't know if it was just because I wasn't used to playing with refs, or that the refs were just really bad. Because one of the refs was one of the owners, one of the refs was a coach, the head coach, and they didn't seem like they knew what they were doing a little bit. I know one of them was wearing some Worlds gear, some Prague gear. Everybody was looking at him like, where did you buy that? So, I don't know. That's something that turned me off to it. The coaches, they don't seem like they know what they're doing. I know for this particular team, the head coach is trying to get two captains to basically run the team. But that's the coach's job. I mean, that's what they said they were going to do. I don't know. This is all hypothetical. I don't know how they're going to work it out. But the coaches didn't really seem like they knew what was going on. I know that Nikki was talking to one of the owners, talking about a film crew, and of course Nikki brought up Next Gen. Hey, you should get Next Gen to film some of the games or be your film crew. And he said, "Oh, someone mentioned that earlier." Wait, you're starting an Ultimate League and you don't know who Next Gen is? Like, really? Let's go. Do your homework. And another thing I want to touch on is the competition. I know there's a lot of speculation about this. I know when I went to the Combine, there were a lot of Louisville guys there. I don't know how many of them played for Louisville, or Evil, as they now call it. But I know that a lot of club players, I know that Tanasi guys, they were just trying to recruit for Tanasi. So whoever didn't want to play for this team can go play club in Tennessee on a good men's team. Because I know a lot of those club players, they don't want to sacrifice their position or their family, with these club players that they played with for years, to sell out for some Pro Ultimate League. And I think the competition is going to start out pretty low. I know some of those great club players aren't going to get hooked on this until, at least by next year, if not the year after or the year after that. I think they'll slowly start to come in. But like I said, I'm just trying to keep an open mind about this. I guess the final question is, will I play for this team if I, get a call back? I don't know. Like I said, I'm trying to keep an open mind about it. I know when I got home on Sunday, my phone was just blowing up. Are you going to do it? Are you not going to do it? They were trying to tell me why I should or why I shouldn't. And that's all in speculation. I'm still trying to get some other opinions about it. I know Nikki said that I should do it. I don't have anything to do this summer. But the thing about it is I live in Chattanooga. I live 4 hours away from Louisville. And that's 4 hours plus the traveling time that I'll have to hop on the bus in Louisville to go wherever we're going. So it's going to be a lot of traveling, especially for me. It would be better if someone in Louisville had an extra room for the summer and welcomed me there. If I got an internship in Louisville, just so happened to do that and had a place to stay or something like that, definitely I would consider it. But right now it's just up in the air. Again, this is all hypothetical. I would really like your guys' opinion. I know I've been getting a lot of views, a lot more than I thought I would, about this whole thing. Subscribe, comment. I will talk back. Once I get going, I will not shut up about it. But I want to know what you guys think. Tell me, give me comments, concerns, questions, something you want to see in the next video. just let me know. I know this video is really long because I had to tell the whole story or whatever. I try to keep it pretty short. But yeah, just let me know. Hit me up on Twitter. I'm always on Twitter. I'm on the Facebook. I don't really give out my Facebook though. Hit me up on the blog if you want to see my design stuff. Just talk to me. I would love to talk back. Thanks for watching, guys. And yeah, see you next time.